What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast here on TCGU University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and I'm joined by
Jeff.
And I'm Michael.
For all of you at home, we have been starting to record these live. We made a couple of updates to our overlay, and so now we are starting the actual show. So, before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. If you like the show, please go out and support us on Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon, all at the URLs at TCG University. Just like all of these people, my Patreon sponsors, Andrew Dang. E.R. Velcor, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jerome Weeks Jr., Justin Forrest, Kat Maria, Samantha Stevens,
Ted
Ruiz. I'm just gonna scratch this off. You're just Ted now. Take off
Tyler Zane Pease
and William Stull. Big shout outs to you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us out on Patreon and catching us live and / or on the VODs later, as well as our sponsors, Card Custom Build and Inked Gaming. I'll tell you a little bit about those later. So we in the pre-show we talked a little bit about our experiences this past week with UniVersus, so we're not going to rehash that. So I just want to jump into our very first topic, which is the Judge Program.
Sorry, it's called the Sensei.
The Sensei
program. And you earn dojo points.
Huh.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so you've actually done a little bit more research on this than I have. I know that it exists, and I'd love for you to tell us and the good people, what is it?
So, obviously, this is in the past, but starting today, you can take an online test to become basically a level 1 judge, but they're calling it a white belt sensei. Able to.
I'm sorry, a what?
White belt sensei.
A white belt sensei.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm in it. A white belt sensei.
Yep.
I'm gonna go get my black belt and set it on the thing. We're gonna have a real talk.
They're able to judge events at the premier stores.
As a white belt, you can do Premier Store stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And PTCs?
No way. I'm not gonna have no white.
Remember.
I'm not gonna
bring it up.
All right. I'm not gonna call. I'm not gonna call a white belt over to judge my PTC. That's not like.
I think it's for you to register for a PTC. You need to have your own local sensei.
Okay.
So
I think that's
how do you
white belt sensei?
Yeah.
Able to judge local hobby store sanctioned events, tier 1 events, PTC Pro Tour championships, and pre-releases.
Wow. Huh.
Then, after you are already a white belt sensei, at a regional or national, you will be able to take a exam for a red belt sensei.
And what does that give you?
That
gives you blood
is
privileges.
so it'll be an exam and an interview.
What?
Blood privileges.
Blood privileges, right. Blue belt's coming next. Go ahead.
It'll be an exam and an interview. And then you'll be able to judge the same two from before, the local hobby store sanctioned events and tier 1 events. And then tier 2 events, regionals or nationals.
Okay. Regionals or nationals? I guess I'll write down PTC versus regional.
That is a good question. I don't think there's info on that yet.
Yes.
Correct. And then the final level, I'm sure you can guess it, is the black belt sensei.
Dang it. I was hoping for orange.
This exam will only be available on site at nationals.
Does it say or worlds?
No, at nationals.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
And that's another exam and another interview. And then the same 3 as before, and you're able to judge a tier 3 event, worlds.
That's what it was.
Worlds is the only tier 3 event?
Yes.
So they put nationals and regionals on the same level?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
So, Michael, what's your shout out? I can. What's your take?
I don't know, dude. Coming from like Yu-Gi-Oh, like regionals like aren't anything. Like a PTC is way cooler than a regional. So I don't know.
So the way that I see our PTCs currently is they are quote unquote regionals just by a different name. It stands for Pro Tour Circuit.
Yeah.
And so it's just a hey, go to this. It's a bigger event. It has bigger prizes. Like what could possibly be the difference between a PTC and a regional?
So I think that regionals are gonna like take over like the place of a PTC, and then I think they're gonna have like PTCs more like it's more like sparingly.
Sporadically.
Yeah, sure. So then like a PTC is gonna be worth more like traveling to, because then you'll have like the plane ticket voucher, and then I feel like a regional is just gonna be a PTC but without the plane ticket. So
Really?
so then it'll just be so Yu-Gi-Oh has OTSs, which are baby regionals,
Mhm.
and then they have regionals. So it's instead of going to like a 200-man regional, you go to like a 30-man OTS, and you can get your invite like to nationals. Like that's how you get your invite and stuff like that. For Yu-Gi-Oh, so you have to perform well at an event to be in order to go to nationals. It's not like just like you come and you play like it is in this game. Excuse me. But yeah, I think that regionals are the PTC is just going to be stripped, and then the regionals are going to be like the thing, and then they're going to take the plane ticket voucher away, and then they're just going to pick like probably like their 6 hottest stores, and then like they will host a PTC. And I also think that like a PTC deserves more coverage and like actual coverage like from Jasco. But like as for like a regional, like Yu-Gi-Oh regionals, like there's no such thing as coverage. Like there's no streams. There's nobody like, oh, these are the decks that are doing well this round and like yada yada. But then like the TCG player events and stuff like that, or the PPG events like for Yu-Gi-Oh, like those are streamed and stuff like that. So like, those are more like an important like event. Yeah, I just think regionals are going to be what PTCs are right now without a plane ticket, and then I think that they're going to try and like bump up PTCs and like try and get more people to go, because like if you look at like the PTC turnouts over like the last couple of months and stuff like that, like you have like a 40-person event, then you have like a 20-person event, then you have like an 8-person event, and then like you barely scrape by with like 6 to 8 people again, and then like LWG hosts like a 70-person event, and then Rockford has like a 68 or 69-person event, and like so like only a select few stores like reach over 40 people. And like I'm not trying to say that Jasco wants to gouge anybody or anything like that, but like they don't hosting an 8-man event and then giving away a plane ticket is like there's like no like benefit like
To
Jasco.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And so if you just take those PTCs away, and then you say you have to come to these important events if you want to win your plane ticket, then that means that they're not handing a plane ticket out to everybody. Or
I actually 100% agree with that. I think to answer this question real fast, Jay Rogers in the chat says you have to go to nationals. So we have to take the exam at nationals to be able to judge worlds. The answer is yes. You have to be in person at nationals to go and attempt to judge at the worlds level. But that does mean you don't get to play at worlds, I would assume. But I'm excited to see what I want is taking things away sucks.
yeah, but they're also giving you something.
They're giving you something, hopefully, if that's what this is. We have literally no knowledge on this. I think Jasco might have... They're excited because they have to get this judge program out now in order to make 2020 work, because at the same time they dropped this, they also did the PTC event scheduling, which then means that like there's not also, quote, regional event scheduling, since we don't know what regionals are.
Right.
Which beginning of 2020 we will know. Maybe it's a quarterly thing. Regionals are just like that much bigger. PTC stay exactly the same, and regionals or even just a step up from that. And the thing about people not having big events, the reason that we had Rockford and Legendary be such major successes is because of Chris Smith. Big shout outs to him. Go to the Rockford CCG page on YouTube. He also has a Patreon. Go ahead and give him some support and love. Did a ton of footwork of like, hey, are you coming to my event? Hey, how can I get you to my event? What can I do in order to make this event happen for you? Do you need lodging? We'll find lodging. He did a lot of legwork, and then Legendary Wolf put up a hella prize themselves. And so the other stores just weren't doing that. The other stores were not advertising as hard as Chris Smith was.
Yeah.
I told Chris Smith at his event, I was like, if every store had a U, we would be the biggest game that there is. 100%. He was messaging people but himself. He messaged me like 3 times. Hey, are you confirmed? Not yet, man. I'm still trying to get it. 2 weeks later. Hey, how you looking? How many people are coming? I'm trying to set reservations up for stuff. Like if we had a Chris Smith, then it would work. Which does it say on here what the kickback is for being a judge?
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Go ahead.
So senseis will have access to some incredible exclusive merchandise and perk via the dojo store.
Pause. What do you think that is?
The dojo store?
No. What's the selective merch we're gonna get?
I think it's playmats.
Playmats, shirts,
Product.
lanyards.
I think it's just playmats.
Product.
Just product?
Not just product, but I think product. That's so easy. Easy for them.
Yeah.
So easy.
Does it have any more details though?
Let's see. Each tier of events, as well as official local hobby store sanctioned events, will earn Sensei Dojo points that can be redeemed at any time. More details to come on the exciting and rewarding journey to becoming a sensei.
But we launched it. All right.
That's not all.
That's not all.
Senseis of all levels will have the chance to compete in the Grand World Sensei Championship.
Huh.
That's right. Dojo points accumulated during the 2020 to 2021 season will qualify senseis to participate in this prestigious event held at Worlds 2020 to 2021, where they will battle it out to become the Grand Sensei.
What?
To become the Grand Sensei.
So here's, man. All right. So there's a lot to unpack.
Ryan can play in tournaments?
That's something else we were talking about. Maybe this is a let Ryan not go to every event thing.
I'm down for that, man. There's so many things. There's so many
I'm not
things.
down for that. I want to see him.
First and foremost, anybody and their grandma can take this judge program, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
My mom, with a little coaching, could go be a sensei.
Yes.
All right. So my mom could go compete at Worlds in the sensei program as a
Yes.
white belt. Why?
It doesn't say.
Okay,
but
sure,
I would
sure.
assume if you accumulate enough points, you're out there on the grind, dude.
Do the points just instantly do the points affect your there's so little we know. I just want to be positive. Hold on. We got to get into my positive mind space. This is really cool. I'm glad that Ryan gets to play, but that's like the only positive that I can see on this. Why does this matter?
I don't really see a difference because anybody can take like you
Right.
just said, anybody can take this test, meaning that everybody will take this test. And then what's the difference between this and player of the year points? Like you can just buy cool stuff with your points.
What?
Or you can go to this special tournament and not be a world's champion. You can be hey, I played in the main event and won. You played in a side event and won. Well, my championship means more, and I get cardboard.
Yeah. Does the
But
grand
who knows?
Does the Grand
maybe
Sensei?
the Grand Sensei gets cardboard too.
What if they got a
An
staff
action?
card? Yo,
You know, a
they got a staff card?
All right, that'd be cool. I think that's the only way it could be better.
Yeah.
I think if you give them equal cardboard, I think that's unfair.
I also agree.
Because the main event should be tougher than a judge tournament. No offense to people who like to judge and stuff like that, but when you think of a Yu-Gi-Oh judge, honestly, they're kind of bad players, but they just know how the game works.
Yeah.
And so I transitioned that into a lot of different games, and
Argue it. Jump it.
I don't know. I definitely got into judging for Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not gonna lie. It's not easy, but I got into it for the product.
well, yeah, that's because Yu-Gi-Oh is really expensive.
Yeah.
This
So
game's
I'm
not
just
as
saying,
expensive as Yu-Gi-Oh though.
But plus, I mean, although the tests are easy, you have to know a lot about the game. You're gonna be good at it.
I mean, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it's possible to be a book nerd and not have the
Street smarts.
the
Like, you can know what to do in the situation, but when put in the situation, do you execute it correctly?
Yeah, and not disparaging anybody who's a judge.
No.
It
By any means.
it's just I hate this phrase just because of like my past job, but like those who can't do teach, those who can't play judge. Like that's like a bad stance to have, but at the same time it might be true. There are plenty of people who can rules lawyer you to death, but miss a ton of interactions. When they're sitting behind the cards, they miss stuff, but when they're floating above bird's eye view, go like, oh, I get how that works. Yeah, so like I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, like,
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
And
That's just my opinion.
without a real true product, if the payout for judging is not high enough, we are not going to see any judges do anything, right? Like the judge program is just going to exist. We don't have enough players in order to make that happen.
Now's a real quick time to add in this.
By all means.
There are many changes that will be coming to the game, and when it comes to the PTCs, one of those changes is that a sensei will be required to run the event.
A sensei will be required.
Yes.
Okay.
I said that earlier, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's
you just took the test, yes?
pretty obvious. Yeah.
Congratulations. You can run a PTC. No. That's what that just said.
Yeah.
You can run a PTC.
Right.
I'm going to get off this podcast right now and take this test in 5 minutes, and I will also be able to run a PTC.
Right.
Michael's going to take it whenever he gets home, and he'll be able to run it. We have three senseis ready to go. Bang.
He's
Put us
not
in
gonna
charge.
take it.
I have zero interest,
Really?
really. I don't know. I just don't have any interest in judging in this game.
It's because our rules are fucking bananas.
It's because
Yes.
I hate how this game is like ruled. There's like a lot of things that I would like want to change. So instead of just scratching my head at this one bad interaction, I'll just play in a tournament and then have someone tell me about this bad interaction, and then I'll be upset for a round, and then I'll get over it, instead of just thinking about it all day of like, yeah, man, sorry, your card sucks. It doesn't work like that, man. Crush your hopes and dreams. I'm not a dream crusher, man. Okay, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I played this really sweet deck, and then someone told me my deck didn't work, and then I basically like lost the tournament because I cheated for 2 rounds, and then my deck didn't work how it was supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't really have any interest. I'd rather just play in like events.
That's fair.
So I mean, like,
You'll never be the Grand Sensei.
all right.
But Michael,
I bet I could be the Grand Sensei in a match though. So that makes me better than the Grand Sensei.
Well, I don't know.
That makes me the Granderist
The
Sensei.
The
That's
blacker
right.
belt.
And you can take that to the bank and cash it. What's up?
But Michael, could you change rules in a position of power?
Oh snap. Yeah, everybody. All right, I'm gonna take this black belt test, and I'm gonna fix Dark Chirito. By the way, yeah. Dark Chirito is gonna be fixed.
Banned. That's how we
and
fix
then
it.
We're gonna completely errata Orphan Alchemist, where it can touch characters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yep. Yeah. We're boom roasted. And then we're gonna make revoke a cost. So if it gets negated, it can leave the card pool. Yeah, dude. All right, I'm in. You got me hooked. If I can change how this game works, I'm down.
What if there was like a secret grand council of senseis just
my
changing the game? You'd be out, dude. You'd be out.
Dude, I can just see it now. It's like Ryan, Garrett Brett, and Tim Keefe just like sitting in a room, just yes. How will we change Dark Chirito this time?
We'll never make Piercing Howl ever again. That's a very old card, Garrett Brett. The Hunt for Spiders is too powerful. It should be gone.
Yes. Tim Keefe 2 dot. Yes, balanced. Yes.
But Michael, at what point do you think you will become consumed by your power and then become a fascist?
Instantly.
It is
Yeah.
crazy how good 3-speed air attacks are right now. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yep. We're gonna go down to Atlanta. We're gonna kill a bunch of Yinglings. And then,
We cannot drink at UFS events anymore. Boop, boop. That is a
Well,
thing.
I mean, I have to be buzzed first, right?
Yeah, we have to. You have to be buzzed to go to an Atlanta event. It's just a requirement. They have a breathalyzer test. If you pass, you can't go in. You have to fail it.
You just like bring in a water bottle, and they're like, "What's in the water bottle?" Nothing. It's just water, man. They like open it. It's just pure 100% vodka.
Everclear. What are you stripping some paint off some models? Yeah. I swallowed a couple.
Yeah, it's just nail polisher, man. You know, some people got some dirty nails here. You know?
For sure.
Clean 'em up.
So judge program. Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Give me the hot takes.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to get more people involved into the community that necessarily don't think that they're, again, no shots intentionally fired. But
Please fire them up. Fire away.
My gun's not on safety. But for people who don't
get me outta
believe, for people who don't believe in their card playing abilities, and for the people who want to build their community, I think this is a very good step for them. Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. Like, we're expecting this big boom to the player base. Like,
It's something that's needed.
Ryan can't do that. Like,
Totally.
no.
I mean, the man already travels like every week, every other week.
Like, so
I think this is a totally fine first step, and I'm excited to. Drunken Master is actually a format in UFS that we can talk about here in a little bit as like a maybe that'll be the post show. We'll talk about Drunken Master on the post show. That sounds fun. If you're on Patreon, you can join us on the post show. Yeah.
I agree, Yoko. I agree.
Yeah, it is a good first step. I'm excited to see the small course corrections that they make. We do only have.
you just want to see the finished product, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I want it to be very smooth. But with that said, this is somebody who last week we live streamed our study hall and had a slew of problems. Right.
Right.
We are trying to make these little course corrections. But with that said, like they've taken their first step. Let's take their next their second step and see where it goes. So the same way that we have overlays and we've got card viewers now, which will be happening later in the show. I demand it. It will happen. I'm excited to see the next step. This is a very good first step.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely agree. Yeah, shout outs to Jay in the chat. He's talking about how hopefully it is more to benefit smaller stores. Yeah, but it looks like it might just benefit like bigger events.
Yeah, it's a good first step. I'm excited to see where it grows.
I mean, like
gross.
the hope.
What?
Gross.
Yeah.
I mean, the other hope is that the merch store.
Yeah.
Like, become the judge for your local hobby shop and go judge every week, and you can get just the nuttiest stuff
For
off
sure.
your store.
For
I
sure.
think that could be another way to do like redemption too.
Is judge points? Dojo points? Excuse me.
Dojo points.
Yeah, dojo redemption.
All right.
Dojemption.
Dojimshin. I am
Excited for Fam Sensei.
I just hope they notice us.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I'm afraid it is a little cash grabby, honestly, with the verbiage. Like, you know what sounds sick? Like, honestly, being a Pokemon professor. That's
Well, yeah, you get sweet playmats.
well, it's not even that. Like, as part of the lore of Pokemon, like, Oak was a professor, Birch was a professor. They're professors. That's like cool. You don't agree?
No, they're just weak.
Oh, okay. It's Sensei just sounds lame. Like it just sounds a little lame. We actually had a comment like way up. I want to say it was Jay Rogers again, who said, "Sensei, Master, Grandmaster. I'd be so much better than whatever belt system they're doing, because did you know that in some forms of martial arts, a red belt is higher than black belt?
I think that they're just colorblind.
It's just the colored belt system is a very Western thing in order to make Americans spend more on belt testings.
Oh, is that why Ryu is wearing a black and red belt? It's because he's like, dude, I'm definitely the master, no matter what dojo this is.
Actually, if you ask Ryu, he's going to say he's not the master, and that's kind of like his whole character arc.
I must travel to these random parts of Russia to fight this bear man.
Yeah.
Oh, now I have to travel to America to fight this lady that's a cop.
Yes.
Now I have to
Is
go
it?
fight Kangaroo Jack in Australia.
Oh, hey, Governor.
Oh, hey,
What's that?
Ken, why are you here?
Well, I flew out here because I'm Ken Masters. Anywho, is there any last minute things about the judge program? Is it weird? The levels? Are you? We already said that we're excited. Is there anything else that we could possibly add to this topic?
Good for you, Jasco.
Yeah, it's a good first step.
It's a nice small step for mankind, for UFS kind.
UFS kind.
UniVersus.
Sorry, UVS kind.
So, we're gonna get into the second topic now, which is going to be asset hate. Another thing Jess taking charge on. You wanted to talk about assets?
Yeah, I was just, Libra Souls assets. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Boom, baby, we're here.
Literally,
We in there.
literally everywhere.
You can type in the word asset and hate, Skylar. Because we're not talking about assets.
Got
We're
'em.
talking about asset hate. How do you get rid of assets?
Play the Earth symbol.
It is yeah. It is not interesting to just name off a bunch of cards, right? And
I
be
agree.
like, so what can we do to quote unquote play around assets?
Well, that's what I was. I know this format's still pretty new, but do we think we're at a point already in the format where, like, you need to be main decking whatever you can to, like, stop assets?
I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't main deck anything to stop assets yet, but that's just because like some decks and some symbols don't like quite benefit off of like some of the newer assets and stuff like that. Like any deck under Sophidia's symbols should be playing Omega Sword and Elk Shield, but that's not an asset that you can like interact with.
Yeah.
Right? Like it sits in the staging area, and maybe your opponent blows it up with like a spine sweep, or you just keep it in your hand and block with it. But it's like a static that like doesn't do anything. So like there's not like a lot of like outs to that. But I mean like not every deck is playing like Manas and Ayas or Cooties, as I called it in the pre-show, which is a Calatues. I don't know, it's Astros asset.
We can actually bring it
But-
up on the screen.
I
I think that card's insane.
think that card is insane, and that's definitely like the best form of asset hate. But I mean, yeah, I just don't think like that a lot of decks are going to. I think a lot of people are going to try and abuse assets, so I think that's why it's very important.
KULUTES.
Wow. Actually, holy cow.
Yeah.
Look at you, Jeff. holy shit! I did not expect that.
But I mean, like depending on your symbols,
The top one. Yep.
Like
So you're good,
You
and
can
then
get
just-
away.
Go back and then
With it?
Yes.
Like if you play any of Tagore Brothers symbols, then you automatically have asset hate, which is ridiculously overpowered. Like if you play Earth, you already have very good access to like asset hate again. I just think we need to see the meta develop a little bit more. I think we need to see a couple more Cassandra lists and Songmina lists that are playing like 12 assets before we can determine if they're out of control, which ones are out of control, and what decks they're out of control in before we can make that call, in my opinion.
I think the thing about asset hate is you have to have it work with your game plan, right? So whenever we look at Calicuties,
That's what
like,
I was about to.
that card says that you flip one of your opponent's foundations as well. Like it's dual purposed.
Yeah.
You look at Outward's Heiress, that card bounces a problem card by paying life. I'm a desperation character. Heck yeah, I'll bounce your 3-diff asset, or I'll bounce your God of Thunder. I'm super down for that play.
Yeah.
Nice Tijuana Groceries, idiot. That's a non-block in your hand now. Like you're playing a stacking character,
Radical Edward.
Radical Edward, or
Suspicious Mr. X.
Herald of Germania says form, flip, remove an asset. So like it's gone forever. And it also says response after you play a character card, add it to your build it.
Yep.
And so like there's a bunch of cool stuff. I lost to our current nationals champion Mark Tyner, shoutouts, in Rockford, because he built one of those in off of a Moondance and then played another Moondance, got rid of it, and like stacked a bunch of characters that easy, like boop boop boop, and it was super quick. And I was like, oh shit, yeah. Another thing you can do, Skylar, as you're doing that is just click the symbols of the cards, and it will and match all selected resources, and you'll be able to find it very quickly there as well. So, like, that's an air, fire, life. Thank you. And then search, and it'll bring you up a bunch of her cards.
Okay.
Yeah, and so from there, it won't shimmy shame on you. I don't know why it's doing that. That's so lame.
I agree.
I guess I'll have to fix that later.
But then,
Anger.
Tagore Brothers is
So much
also
anger.
very multi-purpose. Just being able to stop like anything in your opponent's staging area outside of characters. And then also like you have like bang symbols. I mean like those stop like assets too. And like that card's multi-purpose. It shuts down problem foundations, problem assets, problem characters. Yeah.
You already said spine sweep, right? I think.
Yeah. Just
I think you
under
side.
generic
I think you
Earth.
can pretty safely side that in any of its 3 symbols.
Yeah, I think that card's insane in something like Astaroth, right?
Is it a 5 diff?
Yeah. It's an awesome block. It's got a high block. It's got a 1 high block. That card's crazy good in him. That card's crazy good in Goro. Like,
And Byakuo, because you can stack it, draw it, or you
Yeah.
can just, this is your last attack and I still have 20 life, I'll stack the spine sweep. Sure, I'll draw. I'll spine sweep, blow up your 2 sweet cards. Yeah.
So 2 things comment section wise. Talos MPs, homemade explosives is always a great option.
Yeah.
That card has just recently come back. Do you both know what that card does?
It's pop itself to pop one of your opponent's assets and then you draw a card or something like that, right?
And +2 or -2 damage. On a 2/5/2 mid block. Type in homemade, yeah. 2/5/2 mid block, and it is not unique. And so you can just stack these up and just be like, actually, I have a draw 4 on board.
Stack it up.
Under the order symbol with Xiang Mina, I can just be like, oh, form. I'll add this in. Your asset's going to be gone. This is a destroy cost. Next turn, I'm getting this asset back.
Your assets, grass.
Yeah. Jay Rogers wants to go through us each symbol. The thing is, Jay, is like, once again, it's not about the symbols, right? It's about what does the card do? There's plenty of asset hate. Like, there's plenty of cards that touch assets, even in like unique ways, like you said, Radical and Edward, right?
Yeah.
That's not an asset card. It's not about the assets.
About the words.
It's about the words. It's what does that card do for your deck?
Right.
And so, like, it's part of the reason that I don't actually like Hacker Extraordinaire. Hacker Extraordinaire exclusively as asset hate. It barely builds you a momentum. It's asset hate and just draw 1 for a momentum. Ugh, that just doesn't feel good to me. That just doesn't feel good. That's its entire job is to kill assets.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. Not great. Yeah. I think assets are a banana sandwich right now. I'm playing a 5-hander, and I think I'm playing 6 assets in my deck. I am playing an 80-card deck, so I'm allowed to afford it, and I don't have to play attacks on my turn. But, like, it's... I think... What's one asset you should be afraid of? What's one asset you are afraid of? What's the most powerful asset in the game currently?
Tell you
You got
what, Tim Keefe doesn't need to play assets.
But Tim Keefe can play assets, right?
I mean, he can, yeah.
Yeah, and he can play them exceptionally well because there's a lot of really good assets that are really expensive. Did you know that there's an asset, a 4-diff asset, Pink Gi, that is insane in Tim?
The taunt?
The taunt one, it says enhance commit if your attack is not blocked, you draw 2. If it is blocked, your opponent draws a card or something like that. And so your opponent draws 1. And so that card in Tim Keefe as a 4-diff, I can just be like 2-diff, 3-diff respond, 4-diff respond. Oh, now all of these missile launchers that you're not blocking, well, they say draw 2.
Good.
Or after your opponent plays an ability on their character, cancel it.
Seems good.
It's good enough. It is certainly good enough. Like there's plenty of assets. I think the scariest asset, honestly, is Cervantes' asset. I think that card's insane. Respond commit after your opponent plays a keyword ability, cancel it. Did you multiple to me? No. No. What's that Dark Kirito doing over there? Doing nothing.
Stop that.
Enhance once per turn. Ready a foundation that's not been ready this turn. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm sorry, what? Like, there's...
Yeah, like they're
Tyler, that's nuts. Holy shit. Scholar Meteor can pop homemade for its powerful and draw a card and get 2 more damage. Like, what? And then we destroy a foundation and add the homemade back in with Scarlet. Whoa,
Oh, yeah, we
man.
did it.
No, that's the very top one, buddy. Oh, sorry. New Seongso, Scarlet Meteor.
yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think Scarlet Thunder in an ideal world where every asset can shine to its maximum potential, I think Scarlet Thunder is probably the best.
Think so?
I think I was
Yeah.
going to say that as well.
Just like plane attack, plane attack, plane attack. Pick up these 2 attacks again.
I mean,
and
only if you're
play them
Seong.
both. I don't know. I know. I'm talking about just in a perfect world.
Yep.
If of all the assets that I'm scared of, it's that. But generically, I'd probably have to say Monas and IS. I think that card's really good.
The Voldo card.
Yep.
That card's really fucking good in Zosimo.
I think that card's just really good in general.
Every attack is Withering
Um,
Toxin.
especially like early game, and especially if you're a deck that like, because like that card enables you to like get away with playing like 16 or 17 attacks even, and then you first form, I'll put 2 of these attacks back, and then my attack's gonna have Ghost Thief enhance, or my attack's gonna have
Nutcracker.
yeah,
Or that's what we need. More Nutcrackers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Trying to think on simple stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
if you can, as Voldo, enhance commit. My attack now has downward spiral, and that card is
real quick.
broken.
Nuts.
What's wrong?
What's Voldo's symbols?
Chaos, death, void.
Yes.
Dang it! All right, can't play it then.
What card?
I was like, if only you could, the 7 diff, the 7 Ivy 7 diff.
Guilty.
Guilty Throne.
Yeah, if only you could minus that.
Man, here's the thing, though.
That'd be nuts.
Here's the thing, though.
But you can't.
So, Seong
I
Mina
mean, you can, but yeah,
certainly
Seong.
can.
Yeah.
It's
And that seems
possible.
nuts.
It's possible just to off symbol it. If you've got the symbols, it is super
Yeah.
easy just to be like, oh, I'm gonna play this one card and then pass, right? Like under
Play some crazy Shinnok deck.
Yoshimitsu, you can do it. Here's my death chain. All right, it's now my turn to attack. I'll play this 7 diff. Oh, I checked a weapon card. Was that card that I checked that card? Well, it's certainly a weapon. Or spawn and draw too. Got it. Like, there's a
lot of good cards you can get out of that.
There's so many, and you said, should you mainboard asset hate? I think you definitely should be mainboarding asset hate. 100%. Yeah, I think if you're not mainboarding asset hate right now, I think you're just getting mollywopped game 1, and you can't afford that.
Okay, so follow-up question: Can it be pure asset hate, or should it not be?
So I don't think it should be, just because you're gonna run in like losing to a Jetta or Tira that on turn 2 or turn 3, as their 2 forms of the turn, go Swordfish 2 and then whatever Terra's asset is. Like that is such a
Dressel or something.
that is such a strong whatever play. Like I play 2 forms, I'm nuking your entire kill turn. It doesn't exist anymore. And if it does get through, the ones that I want to get through, I'll just block those. Like, it's just commit. It's commit. Get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Play 2 Scarlet Meteors and continue to add your Kalyugas back and loop 2 Scarlet Meteors with at least 10 damage. Yep. Yeah.
Scarlet Meteor's nuts.
Scarlet Meteor, maybe, should not have been made the way that it was. Maybe that card has too many words to be bad.
Who beat Cassandra this past weekend?
Quan Chi.
And how many assets was he playing?
That is a good question.
Because I don't think he needs assets. If anything, he was probably playing like 4.
Took a quick look, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take a little peeksies. Because I mean, like that Cassandra was playing like 11 or 12 assets.
Well, Cassandra also currently
Builds them for free. Yeah.
builds them for free and is playing 2. What were they?
Monas and IS.
And
Yep. Monas
That's
and
it.
Ice.
oh, both.
Yeah. 'Cause that
Interesting.
card is really good.
Interesting.
Really goog. Goog card. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, see, like, and like he's playing under
Death.
Like
And off symboling for Xiong's because that card's insane.
he has like Tagore Brothers or like Bangs, right? And like so those are his generic asset hates. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's still. I don't know how close it was.
Two,
So, I mean,
two
shout-outs
bang,
to them.
one revoke, one Tagoro.
One Tagoro?
Hmm.
He is playing one Tagoro, and that's how he won? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, look at that.
Any in the sideboard?
Was it game 3? Yeah, he sided one.
Okay.
So
Yeah, what's up? See, that's what I'm talking about, dude. These 11 asset decks, dude. Who cares? Just kill your opponent, dude. Cassandra, she's a 7-hander. She ain't got nothing for life. Just kill her.
So we're just talking about, somebody asked what our topic is. We're just talking about asset hate in general, right? And so, like, should you play it? What are you afraid of? What are the best options when it comes to asset hate? And really, it's about, like, making sure that your deck is versatile. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to say about asset hate before we move on?
I can't think of anything.
I think you should let the meta develop before you decide if you want to main it. If a bunch of songs and Cassandras are topping and winning, then sure. But I think you should decide it at the least.
Currently, are you going to be running any major assets? Do you think assets have their
I don't know.
place
I don't have a deck.
in non Cassandra non-Sion decks? Do you think assets are going to be an issue?
I mean, I think every deck should play 2 to 4 assets.
Okay.
But I also think every deck should play at least 2 to 4 actions. I think every deck should play every card. Just like being able to have like that option of like I can have an answer for this situation, or I can benefit off of this situation because I play this card, I think is pretty good.
Okay. I dig it. Before we move on, big shout outs to our 2 sponsors, Cards Custom Build. My parents love me very much, and every time that I go to a major, they make me a really awesome costume. And now you can too, with My Hero coming out, and Halloween soon to be on its way once again. Or I don't know, by the time you see this, Christmas might be an issue. They can make you a big freaking Santa Claus costume. Not the first time, will not be the last time. If you have any interest in being Santa this Christmas, go out to Cards Custom Build on Facebook, or they have an Etsy page. Contact Clay Cardwell, that is my father, and let him know that you saw the channel, and you'll get 5% off of your entire order. Not only does he do costume stuff, but he also does a bunch of independent, unique items. You just got to talk to him. He's made like cribbage boards. He's made plaques and posters. He has a garage-sized CNC machine. He has 2 3D printers. He has a laser engraver. Kid's real serious. He's built a life-size R2-D2. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing, and he's really passionate about it. So once again, Cards Custom Build. Mention TCG University and the fact that that you love me as much as he loves me. Cards Custom Build.
Can we confirm right now you're going to be Midoriya at Worlds?
So here's the thing.
Midoriya sucks.
Midoriya sucks. Midoriya sucks so bad. What I'm saying is, if Midoriya was playable, right? If Soul Calibur decided to throw in just a couple more punches, right, and not have one, and none of them be off symboled for Midoriya, yeah, I'd have been Midoriya for sure.
I actually said the wrong one. I meant Nationals.
Nationals?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Asterisks.
I would super do that. Yes,
Perfect.
asterisks.
Perfect.
If Midoriya, or if there's like another printing of All Might, but hell yeah, I'd play Midoriya. I'd totally just with Midoriya. Look how cute this guy is. Look at him with his red boots. Look at him. So once again, Cards Custom Build. Our second sponsor for the night is Inked Gaming. There's a lot of things that you need whenever you go to a tournament: playmats, dice, bags. Inked Gaming has it all. At checkout, if you give the code TCG University, you'll get a discount at the checkout. They've got amazing embroidered mats. They've got posters like the ones you can find behind us. There's just plenty of really awesome stuff, whether it be in-house or stuff that they've designed, or you can include your own design. We're going to be making a bunch of TCG University mats from Inked Gaming just because we like their service so much. I have an Inked Gaming playmat hanging up on my wall downstairs down here. It is really rad. I'd love for Tyler to put a picture of that up in the post show. Sorry, live audience, you don't get to see that one. You got a playmat coming, right?
No,
No, not yet.
not from In Gaming. No,
Not from Inked Gaming. Where's it from?
my buddy's making it.
Oh, okay.
My mentor like draws playmats.
That's rad. That's rad.
Yeah, he hasn't drawn a playmat in like 2 years because he found this like really nice. So like my favorite color is arguably like sage green or like forest green.
Okay.
I like a really dark green. But he found a dark green playmat, and he was going to draw Ivysaur and Pichu on it. And,
Yes.
the Ivysaur's like sleeping, and the Pichu's just like standing on top of the Ivysaur. But he went to work on it one day when he had a day off of work, and he threw up on it. And he hasn't made a playmat in like 2 years. But he has inspiration again, and he said he's going to work on it around Christmas.
Hell yeah, that's rad. That's rad.
Yep.
If you don't want your mats thrown up on, though, go to inkgaming.com and put the code name TCG University. On to topic 3. So, we've talked about this just a little bit before. Not necessarily with you two gentlemen, and not even as TCG University, as UFS University. Our sideboards are really small in our game. As people who have played other card games, normally sideboards are significantly larger. What I want to talk about is with all the new changes that are happening to UniVersus, with the My Hero format coming out and all of that, do you think the 8-card sideboard is good for the game? Is it bad for the game? Should we be changing it? Looking to maybe even just put it up to 10 cards, right? What's the point of having a small sideboard versus a large sideboard? Like, let's really jump into the art of sideboarding.
I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, where there's 15 card sideboards, and it just means that you have like an answer to all of the answers like that are against. It's like really weird because like Yu-Gi-Oh sideboards like pertain of two things: you try and blow out a card that blows you out, or you try and blow your opponent out with a singular card. There's no like. See, the thing I like about this game is that like you can like switch up like a little bit. Like very few like decks in Yu-Gi-Oh can like side another deck or like side different attack strings and stuff like that. Me personally, I'd like to see a bigger sideboard because then I can side more answers for more decks. But I don't think that the sideboard should change.
No.
I just think that
For the health of the game.
for the health of the tournament experience.
Oh, okay.
Just like, because like if you think about it, okay, so like we have like eight spots, and like nobody's like, oh, I'm siding in Clockwork Castle for these card pool manipulation decks, right? Like nobody's like siding those right now. But like, let's say you 14 cards. Let's say you get 14 cards. Oh, I'm under Clockwork Castle symbols. Sure, I'll throw 2 of those in there, and then you play against one random person that's doing the card pool manipulation stuff, and then you just blow them out with a -6 breaker 4 high block. Like, and so like, how is that fair? It's like a negative player experience.
This is coming from a very personal spot in Michael's life.
It is definitely coming from personal experience because I played Mark Tyner like 3 or 4 events in a row, and then the very last event he sided Clockwork Castles against me. I felt so honored. He devoted 2 sideboard spots for me. But I just think that it's not healthy for the tournament experience in this game of like, I'm playing a mediocre deck that's like a meme, and every person I've played against has like sided this one specific card that blows me out. It just means that like more decks can. It gives more decks more options, and I think that's bad in this game. Just because like there's a lot of just like generic hate, like in this game. There's just a lot of generic hate.
I agree. I think being able to change up some major things about your deck is interesting in our game. So, like, when you're saying changing up stuff about your deck, not to put it back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Once again, I'm not sure we said this on the podcast before. I remember the wind-up dinosaur or Insector.
Insectors into wind-ups or vice versa, or heroes into wind-ups, vice versa.
So, like, that's... I think, personally, that's really lame, being able to change your core deck that much.
I think it's beautiful. I think that's good game design. That's just my opinion.
But, like, all that is like you have a cake as opposed to a you've got a cake, and then the icing is a little different. And I'd rather see a fruit cake versus a carrot cake versus a red velvet cake, as opposed to here's a generic ass cake and the frosting changes. And that's how I feel. You can pick which fruits go in the cake, right? Or you can pick which that's not a great analogy. What types of cherries you put in your cherry cobbler? Not a cake. But like it's you can't like change the fundamental whatever you took to the event, that's what you took. But like me changing out Scorpion for Vega is like I can't change my whole deck. It changes how it runs, right? But it doesn't
You
change.
just change your frosting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like so. I mean, like the difference there is like you were at the character select screen and you put in a cheat code, and you're still the same character, but you just have a different skin.
Wasn't that just the best analogy ever?
Are you
Pretty sure it was.
Are you hating on my cake
No.
analogy?
Well,
Cake and
I
cobblers.
mean, it just wasn't as good as Michael's.
That's fair. That's fair.
There's on the GameCube, there's this Naruto game where you can put in this code and select, I think Sasuke, and then you'll be Rock Lee. But he has like most of Sasuke's moveset, except his like specials like different, right? And so like you have the same exact moveset, you just like instead of giving +6 damage, you just give speed and minus like checks.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
Is it the Naruto game we played?
no,
No.
it's the one before that.
All right.
Yeah,
Because I fucked you up in that Naruto game. I fucked you, dude.
yeah.
It was over, man.
Rock Lee's cool if you're not expecting it.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Rock Lee Master.
Rock
We'll get
Lee
the
Sensei.
drunken. Yes, that's me. we'll get the drunken master in the post show. That's for sure. What's your opinion on sideboards?
I totally agree with Michael. I think that
Whatever. Fuck you guys.
what it is right now is perfectly like good. Like maybe 2 spots, like you said, maybe to 10, but like even then, that's not really necessary. I feel like because I think you can just be basically too safe. You're like, all right, well, I can counter this with these 2 cards. I can counter this with these 2 cards. Like, you need the way it is now. You have to build more tech choices into your deck.
Right, and that's really what I wanted to bring up is like the fact that a lot of times in these other games we have very very slim decks. A minimum is the best option. In our game, we like them thick.
Yeah, or
We like
minimum is mandatory.
We like them a little plump. We do. We want a little
Sure.
thickness on our decks.
I don't know. I don't like going over 70.
It's okay, Tam. The host can't always be right. Not true. It's my show. These people can get out of my house.
Yo, Clash of Ninjas, shout outs, dude. Yo, I love that game. Hey, yo, the next time you're in Omaha, come over to the house, dude. I'll whip you up. Anyways.
Big shout out to Tyler. No, it's really about like putting quote unquote bad cards into your deck in order to fill up sideboard slots. And these sideboard cards are actually just abysmal in your main deck. They are so bad. Or you have to do the clown car option where like, shit, I actually don't want to play this character right now. Let me just put on a little mascara and just try and well, I'm not really me. I'm somebody else. Yeah, just put on my face. I'm not the 7-hander. I'm a 6-hander so that I don't get turn 2'd by missile launcher. Hey. Yeah, it's so yeah, it's I agree with the sentiment of 8 is fine. I actually think 10 would also be okay. I think pushing it to much more. Does it need to change? No. I think 8's just such a weird fucking number.
I agree, but like if you think about it, like whether you like it or not, there is like a symbol tier list of like what's like the best symbols. I don't know. Like if right now, if I had to list off symbols right now that I think are the best, I think it's like Earth, Death, and then Life. I think those are probably the 3 best symbols in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I suck at this game, so. But I mean, like if you think about it, let's say we just bump it up to 12, even.
Hell yeah.
Like, can
It's
you
12 now.
imagine how much hate and like how much like this deck will have the perfect out for this situation that Earth and Death will have? Like Earth and Death have so many outs to so many different options, and like they're just going to be able to abuse that way more than an all deck or a void deck. Like I don't know, I just think that with how like the current like symbol meta is right now, I don't think you can change it. I think Death will be able to capitalize on that like really well. And like if you bump it up, like if I'm not already citing my 4th Bang or my 4th Tokoro Brothers, yeah, I'll slap those in there and blow somebody out with them.
Yeah.
Or the paranormal activity or the paranormal investigation
Hell
or
yeah,
whatever
hell yeah.
that you like, or even within the Earth decks or water or whatever Jeffrey order, the Jeffrey Foundation. Like, you could just, like, side those and, like, pull out certain matchups. Or you can side, like, Sealer of Evils, like, and just slap those in for, like, the random matchups and stuff like that. I just think a lot of people have to, like, think. Like, that's what I like about this game compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because, like, since it's symbol dependent, that, like, my side deck's not... I'm playing 5 cards, they're all 3-ofs. Here's my Yu-Gi-Oh! Side deck. No, because in this game, like, siding a good one-of that, like, blows out a couple of different decks is, like, really good. Like... siding one Dark Chirito is like really, really good. And then like you actually have to think. Like you have to actually put brain power like into your side deck instead of just like this wide net.
Do you think those narrow cards are like good for the game of enhance, commit, and seal an evil foundation? Do you think that's fine?
I mean,
because that's so targeting. Somebody had a bad experience at a local. And was like, man, I'm so fucking tired of losing to evil. Fuck you. That's all that I see with those type of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
it's like committing a foundation for a foundation is good. Like target committing is a little nuts. But but see, like, and so like that's my argument for like keeping it at 8, right? Like
yeah.
Every water air order deck can slap into Sealer of Evils if you have 12 sideboard spots, you know, and like get those like foundations that like matter, like get rid of those like true identities and stuff like that, like the decks that like rely on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 8. I like having to actually put brain power into my side deck. Yeah, like I spent like a whole day on my side deck for the Yusuke deck.
Yeah,
I thought that side deck was spicy, and Ryan thought it was good. So I don't care. I don't care what anybody says about that side deck. It was googs.
Sensei Ryan thought it was good.
Yeah,
it was.
We actually don't know if he's a sensei.
Oh, he's a sensei.
He's a red belt or black belt or whatever.
He's a black belt. I was just kidding.
Dude, he made the program, probably. Maybe. But no, yeah, he's
who knows?
When he was doing like my deck check, he's like, "Yo, you have the best side deck in the whole tournament." I was like, "Thanks, Ryan." He's like, "Yeah, dude, I love these 5 off-symboled cards, dude. I don't know what they're doing in your deck, but they're good." I was like, "Yep, that's the point."
I love it. I love it. I love it. How much time are we going on, Skylar? Grand Sensei fam. About 45 minutes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know. I've said it a couple times. I just think, I just don't agree with it. It would be nice in an ideal world to have a bigger pool of cards, but
that's the only thing that I said, I totally agree. I think 8's fine. The only thing is,
as a player, 15 would be nice.
Well, because
for the health of the game, let's keep it at 8.
Because
personally,
from obviously Yu-Gi-Oh, we're always gonna reference Yu-Gi-Oh.
This is the Not So Yu-Gi-Oh podcast.
Shit, I love it. Big shout outs to Yokohama Kadashi. I got that in one. I got that in one. To play devil's advocate for a second, why even have a sideboard? Wouldn't it make even harder choices?
There's some things that you just get blown out by.
See, at that point, then like this game turns into World of Warcraft, and Pokemon, and
does Pokemon play best of ones?
I mean, one of those games is dead, and the other one is played by children. So, no, I'm just dang. No, I'm just kidding. No,
World of Warcraft played by children.
No,
I didn't know that game was around.
I just think it's like a more like negative like player experience for sure. Like, I'm a baddie. We'll just say I'm a baddie. I mean,
you're a baddie.
I might be a baddie.
You're a
anyways,
baddie.
But let's just say
James,
I'm not.
James, you're a baddie.
James isn't on the podcast.
It's okay. People call me random names all the time.
Steven, you suck at this game.
Oh my god, please don't. People call me Steven at work like all the time.
Really?
Because I look a little bit like this dude.
Yo, Frederick.
But no, so I mean, like, let's say I'm a baddie and I'm not ready for Lord Raptor and I'm not ready for Jeddah, and like I'm an even more baddie because I didn't put good momentum outs in my deck because nobody in my local play group like plays Jeddah, or nobody in my local play group plays Lord Raptor or Shinnok, like stuff like this. Like, then I go to this tournament, I play against this one random person, and I get blown out. Like when I went to Rockford, I chose not to side for my absolute worst matchup, which is Life Throw. I was playing Air Tornaloose. Shoutouts, that's where I met Tyler. Yeah, we had a good match. Anyways, I did not prepare for my worst matchup, and holy cow, did I get blown out. I got blown out by Life Throw Ivy, who I think I was, I think she ended the day with like 3 wins. But I was like one of those wins, and I was like on the bubble, and like, I'm not saying I shouldn't have lost to her, but if I wasn't a dummy or a baddie, I could have put myself in a better situation to not get blown out by my worst matchup. And so, like, I think that's why like sideboards are necessary, is just so you don't get completely blown out. And then I also, me personally, I like the clown card concept of like, this character is better for this situation against aggro or et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like people will swap out like a core for another core. And now I'm playing a different deck, and so your sideboard that you sided didn't matter because now I'm a whole new deck.
Yeah, the reason I want a sideboard is because I don't want to draw a bunch of bad cards. Like,
Right.
I'm going to take the shit cards and put in my sideboard and never side them. Like, these cards suck. There's so many times, and like, I am notorious here locally for just not being a good sideboarder. I'm just not. I don't make good sideboards. I don't. I would rather have my main deck be a little wider than my side deck. But there's some sideboard cards where I'm just like, man, if I put this in my main deck and I draw it versus 90% of the field,
Doesn't
it's a
do
blank.
anything.
It's a blank foundation, and I would
would I mean
rather
that?
I'd rather rip it up.
Yeah.
Let's do that instead. And so like it's not to the point of Yokohama. It's not more harder choices or clever choices. It's just bad choices. I'm just I'm diluting my deck's purpose. I'm diluting my deck's. We're using this word, game plan. We've had a slight change of verbiage when it comes to these 4 categories. It's now going to be aggro, defense, setup, and disruption.
Yeah. Why affect my strategy with a bad card?
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of times sideboard cards are disruption cards.
All right, real quick to get back to what I was saying, if I can.
Are you good on this topic, Michael? Just kidding. Good.
Like I said, I came from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Please.
Where I know there's a bunch of differences, but you have a 40-card deck, 15-card sideboard.
Yep.
You want to be able to see these cards. That's
sure.
the only thing that I would wish for this game, because you're at the minimum you have a 60 at the minimum, and an 8-card sideboard.
And every time you play a card, you discard the top card of your deck.
Right. So sometimes there's like that want of like, if you want your sideboard to be impactful, you need to be able to see that card.
Yeah.
So
I think it's it's really funny sometimes in like a big event. You're just like, oh man, all right. So I lost game 1, and that's fine. It was really close, but I got these 6 sideboard cards, and I'm gonna play. All right, I draw my first hand. All right, none of them yet. First check. All right, there's one. There's another. There's another. What the fuck?
Well, you just saw what I sided against you.
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So like I said, I think right now it's still totally fine, but there's just somehow.
I agree. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments down below. We would absolutely love to hear your input. For the people in the chat as we were watching live, from our people on Patreon, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Do you guys have a 4th topic? Because I don't necessarily have one. I see you've written down something, but I actually would like to address that at a later time. Just because
Perfect.
it's so close to what it is that we're talking about.
Cool.
So I actually want to throw it off to the chat. I know they're going to be a little bit behind us, but do you guys have something that you want to talk about? I would absolutely. Now's
Exactly,
the time.
Tyler. Like I know there's a bunch of differences. I get that, but still.
What did Tyler say?
He said
You don't
only
just
draw one card in
one
Yu-Gi-Oh!
card a turn. But see, like
So-
another thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, no offense to this game by any means, but like drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually good because like there's no such thing as progressive difficulty in Yu-Gi-Oh! So like me having my 5-card hand and then playing a card that says draw 2, so turning that into a +1, so now I have a 6-card hand, like is really, really good. As to where like UFS, like I play this card, so I go down a card, and then I commit this foundation to draw a card, or I use my attacks effect to draw a card. Like then I'm like back at even advantage, and then
Yeah.
like
Except
if I
you
want,
have-
but,
except you're
but
still
I have
negative
+1
because-
progressive.
Well, and you're still negative because you committed a foundation.
Possibly, depending on
Right.
depending on the card.
Sure.
But you're still in a losing situation because you have that +1 progressive, and so like Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't do that. Like I can play like 15 spell cards like in one turn, draw a bunch of cards, and like whoopee, what a fun game. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like the sideboards to be bigger so you can see those options, but man, those options they just blow people out.
I love this podcast so much.
It's
So,
sad.
chat, if you come up with a cooler topic than what I have right now, we can talk about it. But this is fun. I want your opinion on when is it good to commit a card. So you said commit to draw one. Like that's whatever. I think you're so funny. I think that committing a card is like really bad. I hate committing cards. I would rather flip than commit any day.
Well, so and that's what I was saying, right? Like a lot of the cards like in this game are like flip or commit to draw or like have this like random parameter or condition to like draw this card.
Yeah.
As to where like other games like don't really like have that, and like Magic, for example, has like instants that say like at the end of my opponent's turn, I'll tap my open mana to draw these cards. And granted, they're only drawing one card a turn, so like those cards are like more valuable. But like you already see so many cards in this game, and like depending on what deck you're playing, you're like already gonna like generate like massive advantage.
Yeah.
Like the maxi deck that I'm playing, like obviously it's geared to generate a like massive advantage, but like I didn't have to like super go in to like even get like the slightest bit of like advantage. Like Nutcracker gives you like so much advantage, and like it replaces itself. It possibly builds you a foundation. It only gives you +1 progressive, and it's like a 4 for 8, maybe even like better than that because of like depending on what the character you play. Like Guilty Throne's like insane. That doesn't say commit. That just says play this on a 7, draw 3 cards.
That card says commit too.
Yeah, or 1 or more. Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like it's those like special parameters and stuff like that. I don't know. Like that's what I like about this game is like it's just like so different, and like there's so many different like situations that this game can put you in, to where like commit is good right now or commit is bad, or there's just like a lot of variables, right? Because like let's say like you have 2 open foundations, your opponent plays a Coffee Samba, and like they give you 2 cards, and like they're gonna have stun 3 or 4 on it, and like you have a commit draw card. I mean,
Oh yeah.
like, why
then
not use it, right?
obviously you do that
But, I
because
mean-
like it's gone.
Right.
So-
and so like it's super situational on like when is commitment good and when is commitment bad. Like commitment's bad like when it comes to marriage. No. But no, I mean yeah, like it's just like super. It just super depends on like the situation of like because like me personally, there's I don't remember the one, but I remember one of them, like unpredictable movements.
Yep.
That says commit for -2 speed.
Mhm.
That says commit +1 to my check to
Yep.
block this attack.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because like know your objective's the other one.
Yep.
But it's like it's good to give +1 to my check, but like all it does is give +1 like to my check to block. Like that's all this card does.
Yeah.
And like I'm committing a foundation to do that. Like I'd rather commit -X damage. Like I'd rather flip for -3 damage. Like there's just like other cards like you'd rather play, but you still find those cards like in people's lists. Sorry, I know I went on like a weird.
No, I love it.
tangent,
I love it.
but-
Like we're having it's a conversational podcast. We should have a conversation. See the thing about that card is actually insurance as opposed to like a really good effect, right?
Yeah.
That card is designed to where you go, if I check poor here, I'm gonna have to commit a bunch. So I will go ahead and pre-commit 1 to make sure I don't commit any more.
Yeah.
I will commit 1 to put it at to where this is at 3. My check's going to be on a 3 no matter what. That's what that card's for. Or, man, sometimes you've got a -2 the speed. Or if you have a way to commit to minus speed and then ready it back up, like with the death symbol, as we talked about, the Cervantes asset.
Yeah, commit to stop a keyword.
It has another ability that says just ready a foundation that has been ready this turn.
Oh,
And so now you're right. That card's,
Okay.
that card's fucking nuts, dude.
I actually haven't read that card. So.
Yeah, it's I think it might be like tied for the like fourth best ultra rare in the set, and that's including attacks and whatnot. I think that card's fucking insane. My question is, so a lot of this has to do with on attack. I hate committing cards on the attack. I think it's garbage.
Like on the offense.
On offense, I
Yeah.
think if you're committing cards on your offense, you deserve to lose. Asterisks, obviously. When it says the Lilith reversal, enhance this attack. Your next attack is 2/2.
Mm-hmm. Betrayal.
Would it be worth having that card be a 5 diff if it said enhance? Your next attack gets 4/4.
I totally agree, Tyler. I think Fallen Master's bad except for the 6 check.
Totally. That's what it's there for.
Yes.
If it was a 5 diff, would it be 4/4?
Yes.
Okay, so what that means is it is a good play under the water symbol to play Fallen Master and then played refusing or the grow card. Enhance commit. your
Ridding
next,
the world.
Thank you.
of
Ridding the world of outsiders.
Commit for 2/2.
No.
But we just said that it was.
I totally.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. There.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, before,
I mean, I
4/4 is
already
bigger than
like.
2/2.
I'm not.
4/4 is totally bigger than 2/2, but like you have said that it is a 5 diff and you ostensibly checked a 4 on your thing because you have forcibly committed a card. That's what that says. And I think on offense, any of those cards that do that, they're just not good because you're just going to get backswung. Unless that 4/4 fucking kills them. In which case, do it.
I think the only good like commit offense card is Prophetic Fulfillment, the 2/2 newborn baby card from Gil,
Yeah.
and then Ivy's rare. That's enhanced commit. If it has 3
English aristocrat.
yeah, if it has 2 or less keywords, +3 speed, gain 3 if it touches you.
Yeah.
I think like cards like that are like cards that potentially blow people out at the cost of committing is like worth it. Like passing the torch is like an insane card.
Yeah. That is the first non-conditional draw 1 in our game, or commit draw 1 in our game. Since I've been playing, since any set that I've been in, every conditional draw 1, Scorpion has a pay 2 life, commit this foundation, draw a card, and that card doesn't have a block. And round 1 fight, the Street Fighter Premier Store event promo, you have to be in deadlock.
You talking about the battle's on or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to be in deadlock in order for that effect to work, to commit draw a card. And they just printed this commit draw a card.
Mhm.
If you don't have a hand, draw 2 instead.
Yeah.
Like when Scott Sunman, big shout outs, go to his YouTube channel, Penis Grabbler.
I think it's pronounced Griebler.
Griebler?
Yeah, I think it's Penis Griebler.
Yeah, on our YouTube page, he is one of our buddies. You can just find him on our homepage. It's crazy how good that deck is, or how good that card is. Sorry, it's insane. It's insane.
I think
The battle begins. Shout out to Tyler. That's the name of the card.
There we go. Yeah, I was closer than he was.
This is why we have a chat. Just straight up. We've got fucking hashtag you're wrong just on the screen.
But yeah, I think passing the torch like sets like a new standard for like enhanced commit cards.
Oh, for sure. And like even like Rid of the World of Outsiders is a good card,
Yeah.
but I think
It says +3/+3. It's the cost of commit flip.
yeah, it's fine, and it's even nutty or whatever. You get the God of Thunder it and just keep stacking it.
Right. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, when I started, I was playing. God, you literally just said it.
Well, when you first started, you played Morgan.
Rid of the World of Outsiders.
Ridding the world outside. I was playing it
Oh.
in like every deck I was playing.
Yep.
And now
I love this card.
I don't.
I'm not a fan of that card.
Yeah.
Personally, and I've played Grow.
Tyler, if you moved to Omaha, of course we'd have you on the show. Duh.
Have me on the show.
Duh.
Duh.
Yeah, I agree. But it's also like the value of that card is just the stock of that card has gone down in our
Yeah.
eyes,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like that
There've
card has
been
not been
better-
topping events because there are just like
Better options.
all as format. Why would you play that card if you could play Spirit Gun instead, right?
Right,
Like
right.
the Spirit Gun already had the 2/2 and it blew something up. Like I can't afford to have a committed card when blowing stuff up's gonna exist.
Yeah, when
maybe
it's gonna dominate the
maybe
meta.
what?
When it's going to dominate the meta.
Yeah.
Or when Tim Keefe's running around.
Yeah.
I'll turn this off. I'll turn that off. What up?
For sure. Like we can't have commit costs whenever destruction is a targeted ready destruction is available. I need those foundations to pass blocks. I need them.
Yep.
My whole staging area is gonna get committed due to nutcrackers and missile launchers and Xiong Ma's. Like I have to that card says I get to block something later because it got committed instead of this valuable piece. Yeah. I'll commit that all day as opposed to a Kieran Soul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh man, all right, you're right. I'm not. No 2/2s today. not happening. I'm not getting blown up by a shotgun. Yeah, yeah. Any last thing you guys want to talk about when it comes to committing foundations? I think whenever you get down to it, you have to value your cards. Of every time that you commit a foundation, whenever you're attacking, you failed a check. Or you've increased the difficulty of your attack by 1. Committing things on defense, you are saying that the rest of their attacks got +1 speed. Or if you commit something on defense, their thing got stun 1. Like that is a way that you could equate it if you want to look at the value of your cards. Was stun 1 worth this thing? If not, then it was.
Is stun 1 worth progressive difficulty?
Is stun 1 worth 1 progressive difficulty? Is stun 1 on a progressive worth? So like,
So you equated them throwing another attack as to stun 1, right? Because you had to block. That's what you're saying, right?
+1 speed, but
Oh yeah, right.
yes, as +1
Okay.
speed, right?
Maybe that's a better way to equate it.
Yeah.
Is the See, now I'm confused.
Hell yeah, that's what we do. It's 100% about the longevity of the turn. It's the same argument that I have with why True Identity is both the best card in the game
interaction.
and the worst card in the game. Right? If you're playing a singular attack, True Identity blows. If you're playing 4 attacks in a turn, True Identity is amazing. It's the best
some
card.
Goog insurance.
It is insurance. And so if you are committing a card in order to say, I believe that you either I have to do this right now or I will die, or hey, I believe that you are done. I think you're done. And if you're not done, then I need to make sure that I have the resources to be prepared for the rest of it, right? Like it is totally fine if I've got 5 hella good cards to be like, I'll guarantee this doesn't touch me. I'll commit my 1 card. That's fine. That's fine. I will do my commitment. You have stunned 1 to me to reduce the speed, right? Losing 2 speed for stun 1 is not good. We would never do that.
Yeah.
My attack, I will lose 2 speed on this attack
To gain
to
one speed.
get stun 1.
Oh yeah. That'd be terrible.
Nobody would ever do that on an offensive turn. So that's why commit -2 speed is good. Because when you flip the script, fuck, I would never make that play ever.
Right.
Ever. Unless your deck is a crazy setup deck, right? On a Coffee Samba, I would totally lose X speed in order to get my attack stun X. Even like if that's what Coffee Samba said, it would still be played. The fact that it doesn't lose speed is still insane. But like,
Yeah.
if my goal is to stun out their board and make this a setup card as opposed to an aggressive card, that's where it's at. It once again, like with the asset hate thing, it 100% depends on what your deck's doing. It depends on what their deck's doing.
Yeah.
It reads in the situation. But you just got to make sure, like one of the things that kills new players the most is just like, this thing says commit, we'll do it. Fuck yeah, it says commit. Fucking tap my whole. You stunned me out.
Over committing and then leaving yourself open to a full attack turn from your opponent.
That's how I lost against James's Amy deck today playing as Asamel. He played a 7 diff, and I didn't do the math, and I was like, Asamel -5 damage. You can't play another attack. I'll see if I can block this. And then he put it at 1 more speed, and I was like, if I check the 6, I still don't pass it. Whatever, you're good. And then he played another attack, and I was like, oh, I definitely could have full blocked this gauge attack that you had.
I mean, the 7 diff's got gauge.
Shit. I canceled it with that action, or that asset, actually. The MVP of today's study hall has definitely been
Archeon and Nirvana.
Any last minute thoughts on committee cards? Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Study Hall here on TCG University for the podcast. We are going to be continuing to go on to the post show after this for one last topic of Drunken Master. If you want to hear our thoughts on the last topic, please go to patreon.com/TCG University. Subscribe at the $1 level, and every time that we do these live, you'll be able to see all of that as it is. So, from all of us here at TCG University, stay learned.
Get learned.
Ben learned.
We will see you guys later. Do not hit that.